This is Movie Division. Today I am going to recap the horror thriller movie entitled Oculus. Spoilers ahead. Watch out. The movie opens with two siblings, one girl and one boy, who are hiding in a room from a man holding a gun in his hand. After the man gets on the side, the kids come out and are about to leave the house, when the boy starts crying after looking at a mysterious lady with bright eyes. The girl tries to calm her brother, but the man with the gun appears and shoots the girl. The movie proceeds to be a young man named Tim in St. Aidan Mental Hospital, who informs his doctor that out of many times he saw the same dream, it is the first time he saw himself killing the girl. The doctor considers it a good sign and informs him that he has come out of his delusional self in both consciousness and unconsciousness. The doctor discusses Tim's recovery with the committee, and they decide to let Tim go on his 21st birthday. The scene shifts to Tim's sister, Kaylee, in an auction where she accompanies her boyfriend, Michael, and keeps staring at the royal antique mirror brought for auction. The mirror is sold for $16,000. At the same time, the doctor advises Tim to protect his recovery, and Kaylee leaves to pick up her brother. After a while, Tim comes out of the hospital and is welcomed by Kaylee. Kaylee takes him to lunch and mentions that he can stay with her and her boyfriend. Kaylee then requests Tim to recall the promise they made long ago. Tim is shocked after listening to this, and Kaylee states that she has seen something in an auction after tracking it for a long time. They have 2 days to fulfill their promise. The scene shifts to 11 years earlier, where we see Tim and Kaylee shifting to a new house with their parents. Their mother, Marie, guides the movers to place everything at a suitable location while the kids are seen playing. Tim's mother talks to their father, Alan, who is busy with his office work, and requests his wife to buy new furniture for the house. But she appears to be an antique lover and recalcitrates to use some old stuff. The movie switches to young Kaylee when she brings her mother to the house and shows her the room to stay in. Kaylee again mentions their promise, while Tim replies that he was too old then and denies helping her. Kaylee leaves, stating that she will do it tomorrow night, whether with him or not. We see Kaylee's mother in front of the mirror, looking at her belly scar and complaining that the scar is more visible now, but he diverts her attention. After that, we see Kaylee sleeping with Michael, and when she watches the same mysterious lady in the mirror we saw at the beginning of the movie. As Kaylee gets closer to the mirror, her father attacks from behind, due to which she gets afraid, but her boyfriend calms her down. The next day, Michael informs her that their colleagues have found some graphical content to be printed out for her. He asks her about the reason for printing the corpse's picture, and Kaylee replies that she's going through dark things with her brother, which they need to sort out. Kaylee assures him that things will get better in no time. Her boyfriend also asks why the mirror has moved to another place, and she tells him that she has done it for repair. Kaylee is seen with the repairman, and he leaves after looking at the mirror and assuring him that she will take care of it. After the repairman leaves, Kaylee uncovers the mirror and notices that the statues behind her appear to be moving in the mirror while they are normal. As she gets closer to inspect the statues, the repairman returns and Kaylee gets scared of him. Following that, Kaylee shifts the mirror to the house where she shifted with her parents 11 years ago. And Tim is also seen walking around in the house. After that, he helps his sister to unload the mirror inside the house. Kaylee unloads the mirror and sets the camera and temperature sensors all around the mirror to keep an eye on the mirror. Kaylee then introduces herself and Tim in front of the camera and reveals that she will experiment on the lasered glass because it has been the cause of more than 45 deaths since its existence. Kaylee starts the record of murders since 1867 and keeps mentioning all the horrible deaths and their connection to the lasered glass. After a while, she receives a call from Michael, and she disconnects the call after requesting her boyfriend after 1 hour, and mentions that she has guided Michael to call her after every hour because she is with her mentally ill brother. Tim does not like this, but Kaylee keeps going on. Before she can start their own story, Tim questions her about why they are here. Kaylee then mentions that the mirror reached their father's, Alan Russell's office in 2002, and 2 weeks after its arrival, Alan killed his wife, who was suffering from a mental breakdown, while Alan was killed by his own son. Tim finds it irrelevant, mentions other things their parents bought for their new house, and states that anything could have caused that, according to Kaylee's theory. Kaylee states that she is trying to prove that none of the murders was a crime. Instead, there is a supernatural force behind these murders. Tim suggests breaking the glass, and Kaylee mentions another victim who died in a car accident after he tried to break the glass. Kaylee then makes him recall how they tried to break it 11 years ago, but Tim tells her that does not remember anything. Tim says he cannot help with this because this is her delusion. Only she can overcome it and uncovers the mirror during this. Kaylee becomes suspicious of him, and Tim replies that the reason why he has not yet broken the glass is Kaylee's job. The scene shifts to Alan, who is working on his computer when he feels his injured finger is not working properly. The moment he tries to test his finger, he listens to some whispers in his ears and loses control. After a while, Alan is stunned to find himself picking up a file. Alan approaches his children and directs them to his office, where he blames them for messing up with his office, but the children assure him that they have not done anything. After that, Alan questions Marie whether she has seen anyone coming into his office because the gun he bought for emergencies can be dangerous if the kids get it. Marie gets mad at him for even having the gun. Suddenly, Tim recalls their dog, Mason, who used to act strangely and even one day bit their mother. Marie complains to Alan about the dog, but he does not pay much attention to her. Marie then questions him about whom he is talking to, but gets no reply. Tim explains to Kaylee that everything that happened to their dog was due to parvovirus. Following that, the dog irritates Marie by continuously barking, and despite being abided by her husband not to open his office, Marie locks the dog inside his office. The door gets locked inside when she tries to get the dog out. When Alan returns home, Marie gets infuriated at him for the dog, but when they check, the dog is gone. Tim tells his sister that whatever happened to their parents was the result of a bad marriage and their father was having an affair, but Kaylee reveals that there are no valid proofs to prove their father's affair. Moreover, their mother's completely toothless and hairless corpse was not the result of a bad marriage. After that, Tim frees the dog Kaylee brought and gets into an argument with Kaylee. Tim informs Kaylee that it's their genetic problem and they can be treated. Kaylee gets sad after listening to this, and Tim proposes her to contact her fiancé. Kaylee returns to the room and calls Tim to see with his own eyes. Tim is shocked to see that all the cameras have been turned to the opposite sides. Upon checking, they find themselves turning the cameras while they are arguing with each other. Tim gets confused after looking at this, and follows Kaylee when she is recording everything in his camera and calculating the field of impact. Tim is seen outside the house while trying to call someone, but he is thrilled to suddenly find himself inside the house. After that, Kaylee listens to his mother's voice, cleaning the room with the help of a vacuum cleaner, and when she visits her, she finds Marie standing in front of the mirror. Marie has dinner with the kids and questions them about the woman in their father's office. Tim reports that once he saw her on the stair, but did not look at her. Marie then enters her husband's office and finds some notes with Marisol written on them. She finds their family picture broken on the ground. She gets mad and throws something toward the mirror, after which something controls her body, and she looks at herself in the mirror and finds the blood coming out of her scars. Marie gets afraid after looking at this and rushes out of the office. The kids listen to their mother's screams and Marie attacks her kids when they question her about what happened. At the same time, Alan arrives and gets assailed by Marie. He overpowers her and knocks her out by choking her neck. After that, Alan advises his kids not to enter their mother's room no matter what. The scene shifts to the present, where Kaylee takes Kim because she needs his help. Tim enters the kitchen and eats an apple, after which Kaylee notices that one of their bulbs turns off accidentally. She changes the bulbs and picks up the apple to eat, which turns into a bulb in her hands and makes her bleed from the mouth. Tim questions her why she is shocked and everything gets normal. Subsequently, Kaylee approaches her father and informs him that they need to go grocery shopping and a doctor for their mother, but Alan gets rid of them by stating that he has everything on his list. Kaylee enters her mother's room and returns crying after finding Marie miserable. She asks her father to call the doctor while Alan gets angry at her for disobeying him. Kaylee and Tim contact Dr. Bob, and when he visits their home, Alan makes him return by assuring them that everything is under control, but Kaylee is trying to act out due to her mother's illness. On the other hand, Tim is stunned to see his younger self in front of their house, and while Kaylee is busy placing lights everywhere, young Tim spots a horrible lady with his father and rushes back to his room. Meanwhile, Kaylee picks up a sharp edge of a broken plate and notices footsteps on the door. When someone appears in front of Kaylee, she stabs him and realizes she has killed Michael. Tim also joins her, and Kaylee claims nothing is real, but she starts crying after looking at Michael's dead body through her phone. Tim takes her out of the house and calls 911 to send aid for them. When they decide to leave the house, the lights turn on, and they find themselves again inside the house. Tim retries 911 but listens to his father talking to them, and Kaylee immediately breaks the phone. After that, they move ahead and find themselves standing in front of the mirror with a lady having bright eyes next to them. The duo notices the lady moving toward them and runs from there. They lock themselves inside the room while Alan meets Marie and points a gun at her, and the kids keep seeing this all. Tim and Kaylee then get younger, and Kaylee asks her brother to run out of the door while she keeps their parents busy. They both get afraid, but Kaylee opens the door and leads Marie away from her brother, while Tim hides in the living room after finding the doors closed. Kaylee manages to escape from the house by jumping out of the window. On the other hand, Alan finds Tim and shoots him, while Tim keeps stating that nothing is real. Kaylee listens to the gunshot and returns to rescue her brother. Unluckily, despite being guided by Tim, Kaylee gets attacked by Marie, but Tim helps her get out of there. They hide behind a door, and as their father walks away, the duo starts hitting the mirror, but they fail to harm it. Unfortunately, Alan arrives and tries to kill Kaylee. Tim picks up the gun and threatens Alan to let his sister go. Alan frees Kaylee and shoots himself after asking his son to run away. After Alan dies, all of the mirror's victims appear there and start screaming, due to which Tim opens his eyes and finds himself alone in front of the mirror. He finds that everything is in its place while Kaylee is missing. Meanwhile, Kaylee is standing in front of the mirror in the living room. Tim gets a chance to break the mirror, and the moment he pulls the lever down, the hook runs through Kaylee's neck, which is standing in front of the mirror. Tim realizes that it's a trick, but it's too late. As Kaylee passes out, the police arrest Tim for his sister's murder after they find a video of Tim pulling down the lever. Tim keeps crying that it was the mirror to murder Kaylee, but no one believes him, and we see younger Kaylee asking his brother to always remember their promise, and the movie ends here. If you enjoyed the recap, leave a thumbs up and subscribe for more videos like this. Turn on the bell notification and comment down your favorite part of the movie. Thanks for watching!